Some mysteries never end.
3 days before psychiatrist Dr. Daniel Keller disappeared, police recovered a therapy recording from his office. The tape was never released publicly. According to investigators, Dr. Keller had become visibly disturbed during the final session. But what unsettled detectives most was not the disappearance. It was the patient. Because during the recording, he appeared to know things he should never have known. And near the end of the tape, Dr. Keller stopped asking questions entirely. Dr. Daniel Keller had worked in criminal psychiatry for nearly 14 years. Former colleagues described him as calm, methodical, and emotionally difficult to disturb. He specialized in violent behavioral analysis. Over the years, he had interviewed dozens of dangerous patients. But according to internal clinic records, there was one patient he refused to document normally. The patient arrived under the name Elias Vane. No confirmed background, no criminal history, no verified identity. The first unusual detail appeared during intake. When the receptionist asked for emergency contact information, Elias reportedly smiled and said, "You won't need to call anyone after today." At the time, the comment was dismissed as dark humor. But investigators would later return to that sentence repeatedly, because by the end of the week, Dr. Keller himself would be missing. The recovered tape begins normally. A chair moving, paper shifting, the sound of a recorder activating. Then Dr. Keller speaks. Session 1, 8:14 p.m. His voice sounds calm, professional, controlled. For the first several minutes, Elias barely speaks. Investigators later noted that Dr. Keller appeared increasingly uncomfortable with the silence. Eventually, he asks the patient why he requested the appointment. The response is immediate. "Because you were curious about me before we met." Dr. Keller pauses for several seconds, then asks what he means. Elias responds quietly. "Last Tuesday, around midnight, you searched my name online for 43 minutes. According to digital forensic reports, that statement was accurate. Police later confirmed Dr. Keller had searched the name repeatedly days before the appointment. The information had never been disclosed. At this point in the recording, Dr. Keller attempts to regain control of the conversation. But Elias continues speaking calmly, almost conversationally. "You don't actually believe people change, do you, doctor?" The psychiatrist avoids the question. Instead, he asks Elias whether he experiences paranoid thinking. The patient laughs quietly, not loudly, just enough to make the silence feel worse. Around the halfway point of the recording, the atmosphere changes noticeably. Dr. Keller begins speaking faster. Meanwhile, Elias becomes calmer, more controlled. At one point, Dr. Keller asks whether Elias has difficulty understanding empathy. The response comes immediately. "No, I think you do." Investigators later describe this moment as the turning point of the session, because from this point forward, Dr. Keller appears increasingly defensive. The patient begins making personal observations, not threats, observations. He comments on the doctor's insomnia, his divorce, his habit of checking the office hallway whenever conversations become uncomfortable. Every detail appears correct. At one point, Dr. Keller asks how he could possibly know these things. The patient answers softly, "Because you keep revealing yourself." Then comes the line investigators refuse to discuss publicly for months. According to leaked transcripts, Elias suddenly asks, "Do you know what your office looks like when it's empty?" Dr. Keller stops speaking entirely. For several seconds, only the tape hiss can be heard. Then the psychiatrist quietly asks, "Have you been here before?" The patient does not answer directly. Instead, he says, "You locked the back door tonight, but not completely." The final section of the tape sounds very different from the beginning. Dr. Keller no longer sounds in control. His voice becomes strained, uneven. At one point, he attempts to end the session, but Elias ignores him. Instead, He begins describing a recurring dream. A dark office, a recorder left running, a man disappearing without resistance. Police later confirm that Dr. Keller can be heard breathing heavily during this section. Then Elias says something investigators would never fully explain. "You knew this conversation would happen before I arrived." Dr. Keller asks what he wants. The patient answers calmly, "To see whether you would finally tell the truth about yourself." The psychiatrist then asks quietly, "Who are you?" There is a long silence. Then Elias responds, "Someone who listens carefully." The recording ends abruptly. No struggle, no screaming, no clear conclusion, only the sound of movement, followed by static. Dr. Daniel Keller was reported missing the following morning. His office showed no signs of forced entry. The recorder was still sitting on his desk, still running. According to investigators, only one object appeared to be missing from the room: the patient's file. No verified identity for Elias Fane was ever discovered. No surveillance footage clearly captured his face. And despite extensive investigation, police never publicly explained how the patient appeared to know intimate details about Dr. Keller's personal life. Years later, parts of the recording reportedly remained sealed. But former investigators involved in the case would later agree on one disturbing detail. By the end of the session, Dr. Keller no longer sounded like the psychiatrist. He sounded like the patient. And Elias sounded completely in control. But the most disturbing discovery came months later. When investigators reviewed the original session transcript, they noticed something unusual. Elias Fane had never introduced himself during the recording. Not once. Yet from the very beginning of the session, Dr. Keller already knew his name, even though no patient file was ever recovered, and no verified identity for Elias Fane has ever existed. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Mysterious Scenarios for more psychological crime cases, disturbing mysteries, and unexplained investigations. And if you were in Dr. Keller's position, would you have continued the session?